March 1970. Los Angeles. A quiet Tuesday afternoon settles over Chinatown. On the second floor of a modest dojo along Broadway Street, Bruce Lee is conducting a class with nearly 50 students. He is demonstrating close-range control techniques, how to manage an opponent's arms while creating openings to strike. The air carries the familiar scent of worn wooden floors and hard training. The students listen carefully, watching every movement. Everything feels ordinary, routine, until it suddenly isn't. The front door swings open with force, breaking the rhythm of the class. A tall man stands in the doorway, instantly commanding attention. He is around 6'5", solidly built, dressed in spotless white karate attire, a black belt tied neatly at his waist. Within moments, the atmosphere shifts. Less than a minute later, just 11 seconds by most accounts, this same man will be flat on the mat, struggling for breath, tapping in submission. But to understand how that happened, the story must rewind. The visitor steps inside with visible confidence, moving as if the space belongs to him. He has light hair, a strong jawline, and the posture of someone trained to be noticed. Every conversation stops. Bruce Lee halts mid-instruction. Silence spreads across the room. The man speaks clearly and loudly, making sure no one misses a word. He introduces himself as Michael Carson, the California State Karate Champion. 43 victories. Only 2 defeats. He says he has heard the growing talk about Bruce Lee and his fighting philosophy, jeetkunedo. He pauses deliberately, letting the room absorb his presence. Then he delivers his opinion without hesitation. Kung Fu, he claims, looks graceful on screen but lacks real-world effectiveness. If it truly works, he says, it should be proven, right here, in front of everyone. This is not a casual remark. It is a calculated challenge. Public, direct, and designed to leave no easy exit. Issued inside Bruce Lee's own school, in front of his students, it pressures him to respond. Michael knows exactly how confrontation works. What the class does not know is what is driving him beneath the surface. Michael Carson is afraid, not of Bruce Lee, but of what lies ahead. At 32, his competitive years are fading. New fighters are emerging, younger and quicker, chasing the same spotlight he once held. His reputation has been built on trophies, titles, and dominance. As attention shifts toward new ideas and new figures, especially Bruce Lee's approach gaining respect beyond films, it feels like everything Michael relied on is being questioned. He needs reassurance. He needs proof that his legacy still holds value. Bruce Lee studies him quietly. There is no visible irritation, no raised voice. Just calm focus. He notices the rigid stance, the tight shoulders, the confidence layered over uncertainty. After a brief pause, Bruce speaks evenly. "You want to fight me?" he asks. The reply comes quickly. Michael clarifies that he wants proof. Real contact, no performance, no staged movement. A direct test. The room remains silent, waiting for what comes next. "No stage techniques," the visitor says firmly. Bruce Lee pauses. 3 quiet seconds pass. Then he nods. He agrees, but with conditions. This will not resemble a tournament bout. There will be no officials, no scoring system, and no protective structure. No rounds. No warnings. It will end only when one person concedes or can no longer continue. Bruce makes it clear. This choice belongs entirely to the challenger. The confident grin on Michael Carson's face hesitates, just briefly. Bruce continues, his voice steady and instructional. He explains that competitive karate operates within clear limits, rules that shape behavior and protect fighters. What is about to happen will be different. This is not about collecting points. This is about reality. If Michael wants reality, Bruce will provide it. The students react instantly. Some rush to clear space at the center of the room, energized by the moment. Others step back with visible concern. Their teacher is about to face someone significantly taller and heavier. The contrast is undeniable. Michael removes his outer uniform, revealing a powerful, well-conditioned build. He begins his familiar warm-up routine, rolling his shoulders, loosening his legs, movements refined over years of formal competition. Bruce does none of that. He stands quietly, posture relaxed, arms loose, breathing slow and controlled. There is no visible tension. Michael asks about limitations, suggesting certain targets should be avoided. Bruce answers plainly. He explains that his teaching focuses on survival, on situations where no one intervenes. If that is not what Michael wants, they can stop immediately. Michael hesitates, swallows. Pride steps in. He refuses to withdraw. He agrees, no restrictions. They take their positions, separated by several feet. Michael drops into a textbook karate stance, deep, balanced, disciplined. Bruce remains upright and natural, feet grounded, hands open. No rigid form, just readiness. Michael initiates the exchange. A probing front kick tests distance. Bruce shifts subtly. The strike misses narrowly. Michael resets and launches a powerful roundhouse. Bruce steps inward, neutralizing its force by closing the space. Now the distance favors Bruce. What follows unfolds too quickly for most observers to track cleanly. In the opening seconds, Bruce's hands move with sudden precision. He intercepts Michael's lead arm, redirects it, and strikes through the opening. Michael blocks instinctively, but Bruce instantly changes levels, driving a controlled strike into the center of the body. The impact forces air from Michael's lungs. Another strike lands to the ribs. A feint draws Michael's guard upward, followed by another controlled body strike. The pressure is constant, deliberate, and uninterrupted. As Michael tries to retreat, Bruce stays with him, maintaining the same distance. A straight punch is thrown. Bruce redirects it with a small, efficient motion, unbalancing Michael for a fraction of a second. That moment is enough. A precise palm strike lands at the center of the chest, forcing Michael backward. Desperate to regain control, Michael attempts a spinning kick, an advanced movement designed for tournament scoring. Bruce reads it instantly. As Michael turns, Bruce steps forward, disrupting the rotation before the strike can develop. He controls the arm, removes the base, and sweeps the supporting leg. The movement is simple and direct. Michael goes down. Bruce guides the fall, not violently, but decisively. Within moments, Bruce is positioned above him, controlling the wrist, knee placed firmly to limit movement. One hand hovers near a vulnerable area, not touching, just close enough to demonstrate control. Bruce asks calmly if Michael submit. Michael struggles for breath. His eyes are wide with shock. Unable to speak, he taps the mat repeatedly. Bruce releases him immediately. He steps back, offers a hand, and helps him stand. The room is silent. 50 students have just witnessed strength and size neutralized with timing, positioning, and control in under 15 seconds. Bruce hands Michael a towel and water. Michael stands there, breathing heavily, the confidence gone. Embarrassment shows on his face, along with something else, clarity. He came expecting to discredit a teacher. Instead, he was exposed himself. Bruce speaks first. He acknowledges Michael's skill, discipline, and dedication. He explains that tournament training produces excellent athletes, but for a specific environment. Michael asks what he means. Bruce explains that competition is built on structure, weight classes, officials, pauses before serious injury. Real confrontations offer none of those protections. Training shapes behavior. Michael's training prepared him perfectly for tournaments. This was something else entirely. Michael's voice falters. He asks if his training has been meaningless. Bruce immediately disagrees. He explains that it gave him strength, coordination, endurance, and fighting spirit, all valuable qualities. But success in one arena does not automatically translate to another. Different situations require different skills. A student asks whether size matters. Bruce turns to the class and answers clearly. Size becomes important when skill levels are equal. When they are not, control of distance, timing, and structure determines the outcome. He explains how he prevented Michael from using reach, interrupted rhythm, and kept the exchange centered on his own terms. Michael listens closely now. The challenge is gone. Respect has taken its place. He asks if he can learn this approach. Bruce says yes, but only if Michael is willing to let go of habits built for scoring points. The body must be retrained for control, not competition. The goal is no longer winning rounds, but surviving encounters. Michael asks what philosophy guides this. Bruce answers simply, take what works, discard what does not, add what fits you personally. It is not about abandoning one system for another, it is about growth. Borrow from boxing, wrestling, close-range systems, and distance management. Adapt continuously. He finishes with a calm metaphor. Water does not resist force directly. It flows around it, adapts to shape, and remains undefeated over time. And with that, the lesson ends, not with applause but with understanding. Over time, the lesson settles in. The idea does not become a style, it becomes a framework, a container for understanding movement, pressure, and choice. Months pass. Michael begins attending class regularly, 3 nights a week. He is no longer there to challenge anyone. He is there to relearn how to move without rules, without scorecards, without pausing to calculate points. The process proves far more difficult than he expected. 15 years of conditioned responses do not vanish easily. He often catches himself pulling strikes, retreating when instinct tells him to press forward. Frustration shows. Progress feels uneven. Bruce observes quietly. When Michael finally voices concern, Bruce responds calmly. He tells him he is not learning slowly. He is unlearning quickly. And unlearning, he explains, is always harder than acquiring something new. It requires patience, humility, and time. 6 months later, Bruce watches Michael spar again. The change is visible. Michael now closes distance without hesitation. He maintains forward pressure, controls the center line, and reacts naturally rather than intellectually. The movements are no longer rehearsed. His body is beginning to understand what his mind grasped in seconds months earlier. Bruce nods and offers a brief assessment. The old habits are fading, he says, though the thinking still lingers. Another year of training, and the danger will come naturally. Michael laughs, half disbelieving. He reminds Bruce that he has already trained for 15 years. Bruce answers simply, those 15 years were spent learning one language. This is another. Fluency takes time. Years later, after Bruce Lee's death in 1973, Michael opens a school of his own in Orange County. The sign reads, Carson Martial Arts, Traditional Karate with jeetkunedo Principles. Inside, mounted on the wall in a simple black frame, hangs a photograph. It shows Michael and Bruce months after their first encounter, standing side by side, both smiling. Teacher and student. Mutual respect captured in a single moment. Michael often tells the story to his students, especially when someone arrives carrying too much confidence. He explains that he once met Bruce Lee, and was defeated in 11 seconds. Not because Bruce was bigger or faster, but because he understood something Michael did not. Michael had won dozens of tournament matches and believed that made him a real fighter. That belief ended the day the rules disappeared. When students ask what it felt like, Michael gives the same answer every time. It was like trying to fight water. Impossible to grasp. Impossible to strike. Impossible to predict. He threw techniques that had won championships, movements practiced thousands of times. They landed on nothing. Bruce was already elsewhere. And Bruce was not trying to injure him. He was controlling him, protecting himself while preventing serious harm. Michael explains that Bruce could have broken bones or ended the fight far more violently. He chose not to. That restraint, under pressure, is what defines mastery. One evening, after class, a student notices Michael standing silently before the photograph. When asked if he is all right, Michael nods slowly. He recalls that after his defeat, he sat in his car for nearly an hour before driving home. His hands were shaking, not from fatigue but from realization. His identity had been built on trophies and reputation. In seconds, a smaller man dismantled it completely. The experience shattered an illusion. But in doing so, it offered clarity. He calls it the greatest gift he ever received. True teachers, he says, do not only give skills. They deliver truth, even when it is uncomfortable. Decades pass. Michael is now 70, still teaching, still keeping that photograph on the wall. The martial arts world has changed. Mixed martial arts has risen. Fighters now blend boxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai. No single system dominates. Those who adapt succeed. Watching modern competition, Michael recognizes the philosophy he once struggled to accept fully realized. One of Bruce Lee's closest students once said Bruce was not teaching techniques alone. He was teaching how to think, how to adapt, how to become fluid. What was once criticized as disrespectful to tradition has become the foundation of modern combat sport. When asked whether he feels bitterness about that day, Michael laughed. He says he feels gratitude. In 11 seconds, he learned more than in 15 years of competition. Bruce did not simply defeat him. He revealed the limits of the game Michael thought was real. Then he gave him the tools to grow beyond it. Those who witnessed the encounter often describe it the same way. They expected a clash. Instead, they watched a lesson in humility and control. Bruce could have humiliated his opponent. He chose to teach instead. That choice proved more powerful than violence. The brief encounter in a Los Angeles dojo did more than end a challenge. It demonstrated a principle that continues to echo through generations. When understanding is complete, size and strength become secondary. Style matters less than adaptability. Rules offer safety, but reality does not follow them. And that truth, once learned, cannot be unlearned. That journey, from confident champion to uncertain student to grounded teacher, mirrors a moment most people eventually encounter. It is the moment when reality cuts through the story we have been telling ourselves, when we realize the game we have been winning is not the game we believed it to be, when the identity we carefully built turns out to be unfinished, or built on assumptions that no longer hold. Bruce Lee's ideas were never limited to combat. They pointed toward something much broader. His message was about avoiding rigidity, about refusing to cling to outdated systems simply because they once worked. It was about staying fluid, adjusting to circumstances rather than resisting them. His famous metaphor of water was not poetic decoration. It was instruction. Water adapts to every shape without losing its nature. It survives by changing. History has since confirmed that perspective. Modern mixed martial arts proved that no single style dominates in isolation. The most successful fighters are those who combine, adapt, and evolve. The same pattern appears outside combat. Businesses endure by adjusting to change. Individuals succeed by questioning old habits, discarding what no longer serves them, and learning again, often repeatedly. Which leads to a personal question. Have you experienced your own defining moment? A brief but powerful realization where reality exposed a flaw in your assumptions. A moment when you understood that the rules you trained under were not the rules you were living by. When something you relied on collapsed, forcing you to start over. Those moments are not comfortable. They can feel humiliating. They can dismantle confidence built over years. But they also create rare opportunities. Michael entered that dojo as a champion and left it as a beginner. His pride was stripped away, but in its place grew something far more valuable, a willingness to learn. That openness gave him access to understanding his former success had quietly blocked. A beginner's mindset invites growth. A fixed mindset resists it. Humility, though painful at first, creates space for progress that confidence alone cannot reach. If this story caused you to reflect on your own direction, on what you are training for, and whether it truly matches the challenges you face, consider staying connected. Follow along for more true stories that explore mastery, perspective, and personal growth. And if you feel comfortable, share your experience. Tell us about the moment that changed your understanding, the realization that challenged your beliefs and forced you to rebuild with clarity. Those moments are difficult, but they are often where real growth begins.